I'm sorry that I am not doing a face-to-face in this video, but I did not want to change out of my pajamas, and I'm sure that you can all relate to that. Today in this video, I do want to go over two different things. I'm going to go over the pens that are used in the Cricut Explore, other pens that you can use, and I also want to go over the bag that I posted. It's actually a gift bag that you can go ahead and you can create with the Explore. So first things first, I want to go over some pen options with you. Now, with the Cricut Explore, everybody did receive this pen here. This is the standard Cricut pen, and it came in a metallic color. There are multiple versions that you can get with the Cricut, and this is the Cricut branded marker. Now, the marker that I use, other than the Cricut branded marker that I use the most, is actually the American Crafts marker. Now, as you can see here, hopefully, this is the Slick Writer, and it is almost, I mean, it's not almost, it is the exact same marker. So the Cricut brand and the Slick Writer, I believe, are both manufactured at the same place, and the Slick Writer, which is this one right here, you can use in your machine. It does click in at the same area with this top part, and I actually mark, I have tons and tons of pens that I keep in my little compartment on my Cricut Explore, so I mark the top that can be used in the Cricut with this glitter tape. And I actually got this glitter tape at Target. It was only $1. Let me grab it. And this is actually what it looks like when you get it. Now, it looks very dull here, but as you can see, when you take it out of there, it's absolutely beautiful, and you actually take the adhesive off of the back. I absolutely love this tape. So, $1, Target. Put that on the top of your markers and you'll know which ones you can use. Now, these Slick Writer pens actually come in a package that look like this. They come in 5 different colors in this pack, and these ones I actually got at Tuesday morning. Right now they actually have an ad stating that they do have these available, and they were $3.99. Regularly they're $9.99. Now, the one thing you want to remember is they have to have this M with a circle. That's the medium. I have not had much luck with any of the others. The bold, I'll show you here with the bold Slick Writer. As you can see, and I hope you can see this, the point does not go down far enough to actually reach your project. So the bold ones will not work because you cannot push them down far enough. So this is how the Slick Writers come from American Crafts. And then also what I use from American Crafts that I enjoy are the metallic markers. Again, these write very, very well, and they have the same point at the top, and they are the medium. Again, you must make sure that the M is on them, and this is how they come. Again, you get 5 different colors. You want to make sure they have the M with the circle around them, and these again were $3.99 at Tuesday morning. Regularly, again, $9.99. And right now they have them there. They have them in stock because it does state, you know, in their circular that they are getting them in. So this is a great, great deal. Next, what I use are these Crayola markers. I know this is going to sound silly, but these regular, everyday Crayola markers, they have, again, the same amount. Now, with these, when you are inserting this into the I think it's the A, I guess you could call it the cartridge or the accessory port, you want to make sure that when you're pushing it down, you can, since this is skinnier, you can actually push this all the way down to hit the paper. You want to make sure that this is a little bit above the paper. I'd say about 1/8 of an inch, so that whenever you do go ahead and get that Cricut started to writing, that it doesn't smush the pen all the way down and it does not write properly. So again, these markers, I think at Walmart, They are something like $2.87 or something. Now, what I have not had luck with, but other individuals say that they have had luck, is I get the ones that do not say washable. The washable markers, for some reason, it seems like the head of them right here, it's not as wide, or it's wider or something of that nature, and it will not go all the way through. So I suggest getting the markers that do not say washable, and you're good to go. Now, my last one that I use, last pen that I use, is actually the Precise V5. They're made by Pilot. I have a couple of them here, and you do not want to use these ones. These are also called the V5, but they do not work. I got these by accident. They are great pens to write with, but they do not work in the machine. So I got these ones, and they there's a little groove. There's grooves at the top of these, and these grooves do not, they kind of get stuck at the end of your port. So you want to push it in, but you do not want to force it, and you usually can get it to about the second groove, and then you want to close the actual accessory hub, and it will stay in there for you. Now, these come, and I got these in a pack of 3. I believe that this was black and blue and red, and I got these at Five Below. They were $5 for the whole pack, and then I believe I got a pack of 4 with the red, the blue, and the green, and I got those at Walmart, and I believe they were actually cheaper at Walmart. I think they were like 4 something or 3 something. So these again will work. They're the Precise V5, and they will work in the Cricut. Now, to review very quickly, I did go ahead and I did kind of write some things out for us so that we could see how these actually write. Now, this is the Crayola Fine Line Marker. Now, this is a non-handwriting style. Now, in my first video, or I believe the second video, you see that you can change these into a handwriting style or just a regular style. Like, this is exactly how it would cut it. Now, I unfortunately kind of went off the page here. I did not size this one correctly, but this is the Crayola Fine Line. This is the American Crafts Metallic. This is the American Crafts Slick Writer Marker. And as you can see with the Slick Writer, it is the medium point, but you can see it is a little bit, it does write it a little bit more precisely than the metallic marker. And then this is the Pilot Precise V5, which is my favorite. You will find that there are some areas that it will not write sometimes, because I have discovered that before you put this into the machine, you have to give it a test. Like, go like this, I guess is the best way to explain it, on a piece of paper, and then put it in, and that kind of gets the pen ready to go. So that's it writing with the cut style. And then this is actually writing it as the handwriting. So this is the Pilot Precise V5, the Crayola Fine Line Marker, the American Crafts Metallic Marker, and the American Crafts Slick Writer Marker. Now, the American Crafts Metallic Marker and Slick Writer Marker are almost identical. As you can see here, they do write very, very well. The Crayola Fine Line, I think, is my favorite because there are so many different colors. Again, with the Slick Writer and the Metallic, there are a lot of colors too, but with this Crayola Fine Line, you can do so much with it. And the Pilot Precise V5 is something you want to use for a very detailed font. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to jump right into these bags, these gift bags that I made, because I want to kind of do a little segue from this Pilot Precise V5. Now, I have used quite a few very, very detailed fonts whenever I do these bags. Now, one of the detailed fonts, I'm actually going to a birthday party. It is a circus theme birthday party, and I created this bag. Now, this bag, as you can see, and hopefully you can see the font on here. It is a very, very intricate font. It is a circus theme font, and I hope this is focusing. I can't see it from here, but this is a very, very detailed font. It's a circus font, and of course I just did a little bit of paper piecing on the back with a tent. And actually, when we jump over to the computer, you're going to see me actually find this circus tent and pull up this circusy font. So this is one of the bags that I did. Excuse me. Another bag is this bag. It says, "Give a girl the right shoes and she can conquer the world." Now, this is a Marilyn Monroe quote. This is a quote that my good friend really likes, and I made this bag to give her a gift. And I actually was able to import Marilyn Monroe's signature, and I put that here at the bottom of her quote. So that's another bag that I made. And then this one kind of got a little bit messed up because I don't like the glue that I used on it. But this is going to be, and you can see some of the glue here, and it came through the ribbon. This is a Christmas bag, and as you can see, I used the metallic, let's see, the metallic slick writer. Actually, I believe, to tell you the truth, I did not use the slick writer. I apologize. The American Crafts metallic marker. This has a little bit of a finer point than the Cricut marker that you received. This has a little bit of a bolder point, and that's why this is not as detailed as I would like it to be. So when I make this next one, I'm going to go ahead and actually use the metallic marker from American Crafts so that we can see if it does it a little bit better. Now these bags, I actually got them from the Dollar Tree, my favorite store to get crafting supplies from. They come in a 3-pack, and they're $1. Now, I want you to notice here that this bag is craft, and obviously you can write on, you know, this bag with anything because it's just the regular craft paper. Now, this bag has a glossier finish like this one. So those markers, I mean, they write fantastically on these bags. And also on this bag, although I don't like this bag because of all these mess ups and stuff, but I mean, this is another, you can just see, this is actually one of the edge-to-edge images on, in the design space. You can actually, if you have a subscription, you can use this, and I really like that, but I'll probably move it up next time and switch some things around. But again, I mean, you can see, I mean, there's so many different things you can do with these bags. So, also, I'm just going to show you very quickly, this is the original bag. Whoops, and things are falling. This is the original bag that I did. This bag actually is the bag that I posted first on the Facebook page, and this was done just with my logo that I use for whenever I send out my cups and onesies and different things that I create. So this bag, you can see it's done a little bit better because it is a larger size. I would suggest, if you are going to do these smaller bags, I really like the way that this one turned out because everything is proportionate and everything worked out well. So make sure that you're using fonts that are the right size that will fit on here. I can't wait to do one of these. I got a couple of different other colors so that I can do it, like, you know, with this edge to edge, because I think it'll show up a lot better on this one, and we'll do something different with this ribbon. That it's just yuck. Okay, so these are the bags. So now what I want to go over with you just very briefly, and this is kind of the main event, I guess you could call it, is how you actually are going to go ahead and attach them. Now, you're going to see this mat, and you're going to say, oh my goodness, Christopher, what are you doing? This mat is a mat that I have used 1,010 times, and I accidentally left vinyl on this mat. And the vinyl backing, it will not come up. I know that I can use a tool like this, and that's how I've gotten most of it off, and just pull it up like so. But I actually keep this on here for a reason, for my bag making, and I will show you why. So whenever I take a bag, and these bags are, they are 5 inches by, I believe they're 5 inches by 8 inches is what I measured them out to be. And when I take these bags, let me grab one here, we'll just use a blue one. What I do is when I go into my Cricut craft room, or excuse me, Cricut design space, I'll show you whenever we jump over to the computer, is I measure out 5 inches because that is the size of this bag. So this is 5 inches by 8.5 inches. So what we want to do is on this bag, the amount of space that we have is, I'd say, 4.75 by 8. And what I'm going to do is I'll take my mat, and I want you to learn from my mistake. You're going to put this mat in the upside down, and upside down in regards to the way the bag is facing. So you want to pay very close attention when you're doing a bag like this, because when you set the bag down, you will have, obviously the bag is 5 inches across. So you're going to have 4 inches on one side and 3 inches on another side. Now, you can try to center this and have a 1/2 inch on each side. I don't like to do that only because I don't necessarily trust that I am putting everything in the exact right place. So what I do is I will go ahead and I will do it where it's centered. Like in this case, it's centered between the 3-inch mark and the 8-inch mark. Now, what that gives me is 3 inches on this side and 4 inches on this side. Now, what that means to you is when you're looking at your Cricut Design Space screen right before you hit go, and I will show you that in the next screen, you want to make sure that when this is upside down, because I am going to show you, you have to make the image upside down. I'll show you how to do that once we jump to the computer. You want to make sure that on this side you have 3 and on this side you have 4. And that is very important because I have made the mistake many times that when I put it in, I'm looking at it upside down, and I'll put 4 on this side and 3 on this side by accident, and then my whole entire image is shifted. Actually, I will show you, if I can find it, what happens. Oh, I think I threw it away. I actually made that mistake, and when I made that mistake, it made my whole quote on the Maryland bag over, it was over a whole inch, and it just did not look right. So we're going to place our bag down like this, and this is sticking very well, but this does not make me feel 100% comfortable with it going through the machine. So what I do, and of course, as soon as I want to start filming, my tape has gone missing, but I will use, it's actually painter's tape is what I like to use, and it's that blue tape, but unfortunately oh goodness, at this point right now, it is missing. So what we'll use is the next best thing, and that will be washi tape. So what I do is I'll take some tape, and I will put it at the bottom. This is the most important place to place it. I will put it at the bottom of the bag. What this does is when we feed it through our machine, and let's say that these are the rollers, this will take this and it will go through, and this downward edge here will not, and it's this edge right here, this downward edge will not get stuck in the machine. And I have had them where I did not tape this down and I forgot, and this will just crumple right up. Now your machine is strong, it's built strong, and it will not hurt the machine, it will just crumple this completely up. And the next place that I'll do a piece of tape is right up here at the top. And I'll just take this and push that down. And that's not to hold anything or to stop this from moving. It just keeps it all down very well. So again, to review, this is how we're putting it. We're feeding it into the machine. Ignore these arrows because this is how we're feeding it into the machine. Because the rollers, again, these arrows, this is how we're feeding it into the machine. And the rollers are going to go over top of this end. That's why we need the tape. Now, one other tip that I do want to give y'all is you do not want to go over top of this area here. Now you can, and I have, but this area is going to be raised up higher than this area here, and your pen might catch here. So you want to be careful and mindful of that. You want to try to stay, in this case, it's 2 inches down. You can see right here, this is 2 inches down. You want to go 2 inches down, and that's where you're going to want to start your writing. On this bag here, I went down 2 inches. Oops, let's do this towards me. 2 inches and towards you. And it started right below this, and I love that, and I think it's great. And again, it could not be simpler with such a great result. You want to make sure you tape this down at the bottom, line up the top, 3 inches here, 4 inches here, or depending on the size of your bag, you could have 1 inch here and 1 inch here, 2 inches on each side. It just depends on your bag size. Make sure that when you're feeding this through, that this again, image is upside down. You're going to feed it through the machine, just like so. This is going to be sticking out towards you, and that's how you're going to go ahead and do it. And I'm going to actually cut away, and you'll be able to see how this is fed into the machine, and you'll be able to do it yourself. So if you have any questions, of course, go ahead and comment below or send me a message. Of course, I will always answer your questions. And I thank you so much, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Have a great day.
So what we are first going to do is we're going to go ahead and get into our Cricut design space. And you want to make sure that you are signed in up here at the top. And by signing in, you will have access to all of your features if you have a subscription, or to all of your cartridges. Now, as I stated earlier, this bag is 5 inches by about 8.5 inches. So when we do our actual text that we're going to enter in, we want to make sure that it is within those guidelines. So this is going to be for a circus themed birthday party. So I downloaded a font that's called Jering Master. You can actually download this from dafont.com. And in my previous videos, I do show you how to go and find the fonts. So if you go back to one of those videos, I can actually link it as well. You'll be able to see how to get the fonts and put them in. So first we're going to add text. And the first text we want is happy, because we're going to put happy birthday on this bag. And the Jering Master font is actually already selected here. And if it wasn't selected, we would be able to select it. Now, this is actually set to cut right now. That's why it took a couple of seconds, because this is an intricate font for it to figure out the cut lines. So we're just going to click over here on this little cut image where it shows the scissors. We're going to hit right instead. Now, this can be any color you would like. I generally do midnight so that I can actually see the font here. So we're going to go over to our edit screen here on the right hand side, and we want to go down to the width. We want to make sure this is selected, and we're going to change our width to, I'd say, about 4.75, because we want this to be, we want it to take up as much of that space as we can here. So we're going to do 4.75, and let's go ahead and put that in here, 4.75, and then we are going to also do birthday. So we're going to add text, and we'll type in birthday. Now, this is when you could add the child's name or the adult's name, depending on how you wanted to go ahead and do this. So now, again, it's going to take a couple of seconds for this to pop up, because this is a very intricate font. And since it's an intricate font, right now it's trying to figure out how it's going to cut it. We don't want it to cut it. We're going to click on these scissors again. We're going to hit right. And we want this in the midnight as well, because the midnight is actually the same color as this above. It's just like how I've showed you how to sync in previous videos. We want these both to write at the same time. So we're going to go ahead and click off of that. Now what we want to do is, since we want these two to be centered above each other, you're going to want to go ahead and eyeball it and make sure that you have it where you like it. Let's see. Move it up a little bit here, and I think I like it right there. So now what I'll do is I'll make sure that I put a blue box around both of these letters. Now what I want to do is I want to attach these together. What attaching these together is going to do is that it's going to make sure that the happy and the birthday stays in that same centering that I've created here together whenever, it's actually drawn on the bag. Now, another way that you can do this is you can actually type in happy and birthday and type in the happy, then hit enter, and then let birthday go below it. But then you go into kind of switching the line size and things like that. And I just find I have more control this way. So once we have our happy birthday, we're going to go ahead and we're going to keep that up here on the top. And I'm going to upload my image. Now again, oops, not upload, excuse me. I'm going to insert my image. And I'm going to type in circus here. I actually already have it pulled up from the previous project that I did. I'm going to hit circus here. And I like this circus tent. And I'm actually subscribed to it. So we're going to hit insert image. And we see here that our circus tent can have either 2 layers or 3 layers. Excuse me, 1, 2, or 3 layers. Now, the eye was already crossed off on this, removing the black from behind, and I kind of like that because that is going to give us a little less of a border around, and we'll have a bigger tent. Now we're going to go ahead, we're going to hit edit. We're going to go to the width, and we want this to be, again, 4.75, so it fills up a lot of that bag. And then 3.938 is going to be the height. And what we'll do at this point is we'll hit go. Now, what this is going to try to do is it is going to actually try to cut this below the tent. I don't know why I couldn't think of what it was called. The tent. It's going to try to cut the tent and write happy birthday on the same piece of paper. So what we need to do is we want to make sure that it is not doing it that way. And we're going to go ahead and take a look here and see. Sometimes it will do it that way, and sometimes it will do it where it will actually do them separately. So let's take a look here and see what it's going to do for us. Actually, it's doing it separately. Perfect. This is exactly what we want. So it's doing these on 2 separate, and it's doing the writing here. Now, what we want to do is we want to go ahead and we want to make sure in this screen that our happy birthday is exactly where we want it. But before we do that, because I showed you that we're going to feed the bag through backwards or upside down, we want to flip this over. Now, I have learned that if you attempt to flip this over whenever you're actually designing the bag, that will not work. Unfortunately, if you flip it over, when it comes into this preview screen, it's going to flip it right back over. So you're going to have to do that in here. And as you can see, I just grabbed that top box, this top little circle, and I was dragging it back and forth until it was upside down, and to where I like it. And you can use these lines as guides to see where if it's straightened out. You can see how it's straight amongst lined up with that that dotted line there. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to bring this all the way up. Well, not all the way up, because obviously the mat is a little bit the mat's going to be not a little bit, a lot of bit bigger than the bag. So we want to take a look here as to where we have this placed. So I'd say we want to keep this between the 9 and the 2. So I'm going to bring this over a little bit. And sometimes in this preview screen, you are going to have a little bit of lag. That's okay. You just have to kind of fiddle around with it until you get it right where you want it. So we're going to put this in between the 9 and the 2. And we're going to set this at the let's see, the 9 mark here. So we just want to remember that whenever we're going ahead and we're putting and we're placing our bag on the mat, that's exactly where it is actually going to draw that for us. So now we're going to head over to the Cricut Explore, and we're going to go ahead and draw this out, and then I will show you how to